In the whole history of the show The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, there has only been 5 people who have self-identified as people with disabilities. There has been 20 seasons of The Bachelorette and 28 seasons of The Bachelor. On most seasons, there's typically about 30 people who are contestants. However, it ranges from season to season. So doing the math, that's not very many people who have ever self-identified as someone with a disability on this show. On the current season of The Bachelor, season 28, there's a contestant named Daisy, and she's self-identified as someone who is deaf. And a big whole part of the season is her sharing her story about having a disability. In this video, I'll be sharing some of my reactions to things that she has said or that Joey, who is the Bachelor, has said regarding her disability. So first up, we're gonna see Joey meeting Daisy for the first time.
How we doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, nice ride.
Thanks.
How are you feeling?
I'm excited. A little bit of butterfly.
Yeah.
My first impression of this very first clip is that you can't tell that she has a disability. She looks like anyone else, and that is totally fine with me. It doesn't always need to be visibly known that someone has a disability. There are invisible ones, and there are visible disabilities, and then there's people in between where you can tell in some scenarios and not others. But I will point out that it seems like they're still fitting that mold of trying to have people who are super gorgeous and maybe you can't even barely tell that they have a disability while still trying to represent people with disabilities. Next, we're going to watch a clip of Daisy introducing herself.
I'm Daisy. I'm 25 years old and I'm from Becker, Minnesota. I grew up on a Christmas tree farm. It was super fun growing up. I spent a lot of time outside. But when I was 17, I started losing my hearing. And the last few years it started getting really bad and I was not able to hear and understand people, which was really hard and really sad.
All right, only seconds into her introduction, she talks about where she's from, and then she instantly jumps into explaining her disability and how it came about. So this tells me that the people who are producing and editing this are really going to make this a focus of the show to kind of display that they're trying to show people who have disabilities on their show. I think I'm okay with this because they haven't had a lot of disability representation. It seems like in this season they're taking more of an educational approach to show a person who is deaf and to help people better understand that she's more of just a normal average person and she just happens to also be deaf. Now, if they continue to do this in the future where it's just, let's feel bad because she has a disability and I'm gonna give her a pity rose kind of thing, that's when I would start having a problem. Also, I really just hope that the whole season we don't just see Daisy's story being about her disability and that they actually showcase and show her personality and who she is beyond her disability. Please?
But I got a cochlear implant this last year in my left ear and it's honestly completely changed my life. It's exciting to me because I forgot everyday sounds. I'm so thankful and I'm so happy and my life is so full of love and I honestly just want someone to share all of that with.
Did anyone else notice the change in the music where it was this super somber, sad music when she was saying that she lost her hearing? And then the music shifted and changed to more of a happy music when she started talking about how she got her cochlear implant. I really enjoyed her explaining how her cochlear implant, while it didn't take away her disability, it just helped her be able to hear better and it didn't just get rid of it.
I haven't dated since I got my implant and so I'm super nervous, but I feel like Joey has a huge heart. He seems very genuine and I'm so excited to meet him.
Her sharing that she hasn't done a lot of dating, especially since she's got her cochlear implant, and sharing that she's a little nervous about that totally is relatable. There's so many people that I've talked to who have disabilities who express that dating can be really hard when you have a disability. So I really like how relatable that is.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Daisy.
Nice to meet you too. I
Sure
can't
I'll
wait
see
to
you
talk more.
inside. Yeah, awesome. You look great, by the way.
Thank you. So do you.
I appreciate it.
So one of two things is happening here. Either he hasn't noticed that she has a disability and she's choosing not to say anything yet, which I think is great. A big question people always ask is, if I have a disability, when should I reveal that? Like, should it be on the first date? Should it be before we even meet? Like, how should I go about this? And it can really depend on how visible your disability is. The other option is Joey did notice, but he made it a point to not say anything. Or I guess the third alternative is he did notice, but they chose to edit it out or not make it a focus of the story yet. So let's see if that kind of is revealed later on.
Having a really good time. All the girls are super nice, but I do feel overwhelmed, but I think it's just because I can't really hear that well with that much noise going on. Like, I'm new to having a cochlear implant, and I didn't think it was going to be this overwhelming for me.
So here again, it's really nice to see the realness of Daisy. She's expressing that her cochlear implant is something that's going to take time for her to get used to, and it affects her ability to be able to hear in the loud settings. I really appreciate that they put that clip in there.
I'm just excited to talk to Joey. I feel like it's important that I tell him, but there's so much more to me than like my cochlear implant, you know? But we'll see how our conversation goes.
You can tell in this clip that she's really nervous about telling him about her disability and when is the right time for her to share that information with Joey.
Daisy is gorgeous, and I was blown away as soon as she got out of the truck. She has this soft-spoken demeanor that pulls you in, that's captivating. And I'm drawn to it and want to know so much more.
That was a clip of Joey showing how much he really likes Daisy and is interested in her. And at this point, as far as we know, he hasn't realized that she has a disability. So it'd be interesting to see if that changes over time or how he reacts to it. Keeping in mind, this is a television show and it could be scripted or really put onto a specific narrative of how it's going to be portrayed. But we'll just have to wait to see how it's portrayed in this scenario. The next section of clips is going to be from episode 2. This is where Daisy gets the very first one-on-one, which is super exciting and a big deal because she gets to spend time alone with Joey before anyone else does.
Daisy?
I want a love that hits all the right notes. Heart Joey.
Wait, what did it say?
I want a love that hits all the right notes. Heart Joey.
And for context, this next clip is when she's in the house with all the girls and she had just received her date card and found out that she's going on the first one-on-one.
So I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous too. Yeah. So there's something about me that's kind of unique, and sorry, I'm tearing up. I started losing my hearing 8 years ago, and he doesn't know that about me yet. It's been one of the hardest things that I've gone through, but it's also been one of the most beautiful things. It's kind of just a conversation I need to have with him, and I've actually only been on one date since I've got my cochlear implant, and it was with somebody who knew me prior, so I'd never had this conversation.
You can see how emotional and difficult it was for her to just even open up to the other girls in the house to explain that she has a disability. This is the first time where she reveals to someone on the season that she has it, and she expresses that she's kind of nervous to tell Joey about her disability.
Tomorrow I'm going to tell Joey some pretty big things.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. It makes me a little nervous because you never know. It could not go well, but I just know it's me in my own head, worrying about stuff.
It's super apparent and obvious that Daisy's super nervous about telling Joey about her disability. It's everything that she's been talking about, and she's not going to be able to move on to trying to build that real connection with Joey until she shares that information with him.
Today, I'm going on the first one-on-one with Joey, and it could completely change everything for me, I think, because with that extra time, obviously, we're going to get to know each other a lot better. I have something that makes me a little different.
I love how they show this little clip of her putting her cochlear implant on, getting ready for her date. This really brings in the audience of showing that behind the scenes of how does it really work, how does she put it on. That's pretty cool.
And there were definitely insecurities, and there still are. I always wanted people to see me as this happy, bubbly person.
To me, it feels like she's saying she doesn't really want people to see her as the deaf person. She wants people to see her as a bubbly, happy person who she is, who might also happen to be deaf. Something else I have also noticed is she's always having her hair in a certain way where it covers her cochlear implant and it's not super obvious. So maybe she doesn't want it to be like out in the open and people really noticing that. I'm not sure if that's fully intentional, but it seems intentional to me.
The first night was a really big challenge for me when I came in. All the noises like bouncing off the walls. It was kind of a sensory overload. But then after I talked to him, I got like excited.
Again, she expresses how the situation and environment is kind of overwhelming and challenging for her with her sensory overload and everything.
I've never really told a guy that I'm into about my implant. There's gonna be times where I struggle. I mean, I'm still me. It's just like an extra thing that I have. And like hopefully today he'll see that.
They continue with the narrative of showing how nervous she is about expressing that she has a disability and her pointing out, well, I'm just a normal person and I have a disability, but I don't know if Joey's going to be able to accept that part of me, and that it can be challenging for someone to accept that when you're dating. Also, something significant that happens in that clip for those of you who are visually impaired or blind, she pulls up into a place where she gets out of the car and then there's a helicopter there, which to me seems like it would be a very stressful thing in her mind because she's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear, so we'll see what she has to say about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited to spend the day with him, but I'm panicking a little bit because I have to get in a helicopter and I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear him.
Maybe how we're gonna be able to talk to one another. I feel like I look very dorky. You look cute though. I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, me too. It's a relief that I could hear him. So I'm really excited. I'm honestly so stoked to do whatever we're doing.
She was pleasantly surprised and very nervous to find out that she was going to be able to hear through the headset and the helicopter, and it seemed like just a big relief when she realized she could hear. This is definitely something that I personally can relate to when I'm doing new activities or activities with friends or even on a date or whatever. There's certain things that I wouldn't be able to see and it makes me nervous, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm so nervous because I can just ask for help or whatever. But then I feel like it's just really highlighting that I need help or whatever instead of me finding a way to do it. But in a situation where it's a new activity, my nerves get in the way and then it's just like, ooh, so I can totally understand that.
So we are at the Beach Life Ranch.
Okay.
And not only are we going to the festival today, we also have all access. So
Okay.
we got a lot of fun things inside. If you're feeling ready to go, we can do it.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I can't believe that I'm here right now with Joey. It's such a thing like I would do. I just love music, love being around like the whole vibe of everything. It feels just like something I would normally do with somebody.
So not only did they fly in a helicopter to this place, but they're now at a music festival. She's deaf. Like, would a lot of people assume if you're deaf, you wouldn't like music? I love that they showed that she loves music even though she's deaf. She had hearing before and she experiences music, but she also said that this is an activity that she would do on a normal average day. So you guys, don't make assumptions of things that people would do or not do depending on their disability. Just because you don't understand how they experience it and how they can enjoy it doesn't mean that it's not possible.
Have you been to a festival before?
Huh?
Have you been to a festival before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's pretty loud, but that doesn't really bother me.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Cheers.
If there's like a lot of conversations, it's hard for me to follow, but he has really good like eye contact, so honestly it's been way better than I thought it would be.
They continue to show their date and they have this voiceover narrative where Daisy's explaining what's challenging for her and what works for her and everything. And I think it's interesting that they're choosing this to be a large storyline of the whole episode. At this point, she's really talking to us as the audience and not necessarily to Joey. She hasn't told Joey that she has a disability yet, so it's like we know as the audience, and they're trying to get us to build empathy for her and her story before Joey even finds out.
The reason why I thought of you first for this date was because of how much you said you love music too.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be something that we would have naturally done outside of this.
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
I wonder if Joey would have still picked her for this date if he knew that she had the disability of being deaf.
But I feel like I don't know a lot about what you do.
So, I'm transitioning out of doing software sales and running my nonprofit full-time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it just helps kids see like what makes them different. It can be like empowering. So that's kind of what
really
I'm
cool.
leaning more into and what I've been focusing on.
That's awesome.
So that's
Passion project. I love it.
I definitely had to do some dancing around my cochlear implant. When he was like asking me what I like did, we're having like so much fun, and I don't want to tell him right now because it's just not the right like moment, but the right moment will come.
Here you can see that she intentionally is avoiding telling Joey that she has a disability. She doesn't feel like that's the right time to disclose that information yet. Maybe she's feeling like she wants him to like her for who she is before she tells him that information, and I can totally understand her perspective of wanting to do that.
We were both just kind of living in the moment and taking it all in. Tonight, there's a lot that I need to tell him about myself, but right now, I have a really good feeling about me and Joey.
You can tell that they're having a lot of fun time on their date, but you can also tell that like the biggest thing on her mind is just like getting to a place where she feels comfortable to tell him about her disability, and it's just on the forefront of her mind, and she's going to be thinking about it till she does it. Next, we see them going into the dinner portion of their date, so let's see if this is where she shares her disability with him.
Today was so much fun. I feel like it was a really great start to a future relationship. So I'm really excited to see where this can go. But tonight I have a lot that I need to tell Joey. I have to tell him about my cochlear implant and some of the health stuff I had to go through in my life. I was so sick and like sad for a while. And super important just that he sees what like the full picture of life with me would be like. Sometimes I do feel insecure about it, and I feel like who would want to be with somebody that has been through all of this.
So sad yet relatable that she's sharing once again that she's insecure about the fact that she has a disability, and she's not sure why would someone date her who has a disability when they could date someone else who doesn't have those struggles or that difference. So you can definitely tell that she has some insecurities about it, and she's not quite sure how this is gonna go over. Totally relatable.
I also love that we got even some time to like sit down and chat a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit. And I honestly want to hear more about what your nonprofit is and kind of how all that started, because it was really intriguing to me, and I could see how you kind of lit up when you started talking about it.
Yeah.
You can tell that she's like, oh, shoot, I can't avoid this topic anymore. This is the moment I need to share it and open up.
So I'm gonna go back because there's some things like about me that you should know, and like moving forward, like a life with me is probably gonna look a little different than a life with any other girl in the house.
I think this is a mindset for me looking at all the contestants and everyone here. Yeah, she has a disability and it's being shown there, but if they weren't showing this whole narrative and everything, I really wouldn't see her that different from everyone else. But that's not my place to say. It's her story and how she feels.
So when I was 11, I started having these stroke-like seizures.
Notice the change in the music once again. They're trying to make it feel somber and sad so that we can connect with her story more.
They didn't really know why. And when other people would get sick, when my siblings would get sick, if I would get what they got, I would be 10 times sicker. And then when I was 17, I like woke up to my dad waking me up, and I realized I couldn't really hear that well.
Okay.
And then, sorry, this is like a lot, and I've never just like,
I'm listening.
and then my hearing like kept getting worse. Communicating was really hard for me, and it was super isolating. Kept getting sick like on and off, and then it got to the point where I like didn't feel good like at all, ever. I could barely walk a block.
You can really tell how hard this is to share her story with Joey about her deafness and how sick she was as a child. It really can be a hard thing to have to share with people, and especially being vulnerable and not knowing how they're going to respond. I really feel for her for that.
Yeah, so it's been pretty wild.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. But after I did that treatment, I felt way better and I was really healthy. And like that's the important thing. But my hearing kept getting worse. So the reason that I can communicate with you the way I can is because I have a cochlear implant.
Okay.
And I'm still learning with it. You might have noticed I probably said what a lot today. If I'm not,
but I'll probably be more aware of it.
yeah, if I can't see your face, it's gonna be really hard for me to understand what you're saying.
So for context, she's talking about how she had to go to Germany for treatment for her Lyme disease, and then that's when she starts talking about how she started feeling better after she had that treatment. And then she explains to him that she still is deaf, but she has a cochlear implant, which really helps her be able to hear more and be able to communicate with him and other people. I think it's super great that she's explaining to him like the things that are going to be hard so he better understands how he can communicate well with her.
When Daisy started the conversation tonight, it took me by surprise initially. But it takes a special type of person to be able to go through all these challenges in life and find a way to turn them into a positive. And she has done that in full force. And I'm blown away, honestly.
I have mixed emotions about this little clip here. I know Joey has the best of intentions, but when he says like she's special because of her disability and everything, it kind of just feels a little bit like, ooh, I don't know, like it bugs me when people say that I'm inspirational because of my disability and the things I've been going through. Like, it's just part of who I am. Like, you don't need to look at me different, whether it's in a negative way or, like, putting me on this high pedestal.
Did you have any idea?
Did I have any idea?
Yeah.
No.
Did you see it at all today?
No, I didn't. I was
Do
too
you
busy
wanna
looking
see
in your
it?
eyes.
She asked if he's noticed, and he said no, so her hair covering it and everything did the trick. He had no idea that she had a disability. I think that's pretty great. She was able to find the right moment to share her information, and that moment can be different for everyone. It also shows that you can't always tell when someone has a disability. It's not going to be super apparent right away.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I'll show you. So that's it. So it actually comes off. And so I have like a piece probably like that big that's in my skull and goes into my head. Electrically stimulates my auditory nerve and sends the signals to my brain.
Okay.
So that's how I hear.
Okay.
And so right when they activate you, you don't know what it's gonna sound like. And that's the scariest thing. Some people don't hear anything at the beginning. I was blessed enough that I could hear words, but everyone sounded like a chipmunk.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I sound like a chipmunk right now?
No, not right now, because like it gets better and better.
I do really appreciate how she explains so well things to Joey and talks about and shows her cochlear implant and explains how it works and the nuances of it and how it's not perfect, but it helps her hear better and how she's still learning. Like, I really enjoy that she is really taking the time to explain it to Joey instead of just like glazing over it and really just avoiding that. I really think that's going to help Joey feel more comfortable. I am starting to feel like hopefully soon they'll like stop focusing so much on her disability though in her storyline, and we can really see Daisy more shine through and her personality as a whole person.
So I don't know if I'd be able to distinguish your voice from somebody else talking to me, so that's why like me being able to like look at you is like really important. But like I said, it is something that like it's always going to be part of me. It's always going to make me a little different.
That's what's most impressive about it though, is you're wearing it with pride, you have this confidence about it, and you want to make a job out of it and help other people. I don't know, it's extremely inspiring to me. And this has only made you seem more interesting, more impressive, more wanting for me to just, see where all of this goes.
I was worried about like putting that on somebody. Like it can be a lot and overwhelming, but he really listened, and like how he responded, like honestly, it made him like 10 times more attractive to me.
Once again, to me, this feels kind of like he's putting her on this big whole pedestal, but I think his intentions are so good, and she also expressed that she thought it was a great reaction. So if that's how she's feeling, like it's her deal, it's her disability, and how she feels is all that matters.
With Daisy, I know that she's resilient. She has the ability to push through these really difficult things, and to have that be the person that you're with It's a huge trait that you can look to. After this first date tonight, I can see Daisy being someone I end up with at the end of all this, and it's exciting. Daisy.
Yes.
On night one, I just knew there was something about you, and today, you continued to blow me away. I couldn't ask for more. So, Daisy, would you accept this rose?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Of course.
I do love the fact that he is looking at traits that her disability has helped her develop. So focusing on that she's resilient, that really is a good trait, and it can be very common for people with disabilities. They're dealing with so much. So he redeemed himself a little bit there when he was explaining the trait that he really liked about her for that reason. And you guys, he still gave her a rose, which also says a lot. Now, once again, we don't know if that was Joey who fully was like, I want to give her a rose, or if they were like, you have to give this girl a rose because we're trying to show people with disabilities. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he seems genuine to me, and it seems like they really do have a good connection. All right, the next little clips is from episode 3, and this is where she was on a group date, and then they have time later in the evening to talk more one-on-one with Joey. And this is a part of their conversation.
Okay, I want to go back to our one-on-one.
Okay, I'm ready. What do we got?
So I know I kind of gave you like a lot of information, and I just kind of want to like open it up. Like if you have any questions or anything about my cochlear implant, because I know it was kind of a lot that I said.
The first feeling I had was, God, you're impressive. Like, that was
Yeah.
all I was thinking the entire time.
Yeah.
But then I also was like, that's a lot for someone to go through. And like today on the date, I was even thinking, I hope like this isn't too much for her.
No, that's the thing. That's very sweet. And I want you to know, like, I'm fully, like, capable with it. And, like, I'm doing so well. But, like, still, like, learning with it. You know what I mean?
I do like how she follows up with him to try to make him feel more comfortable and see if he has any questions as he's been processing the information she gave him. And then Joey expresses that he had some concern if some of the activities were like too loud or too much for her, which I do think it's sweet that he's thinking about that. And once again, great intentions there, but I do love how she's like, wait, no, just so you know, I'm totally capable and I will let you know if there's situations that's too much for me.
Do you want to touch it?
I do.
I feel like I'll help you be more comfortable with it, and then, I don't know, it'll probably help
Not
us.
the question, do you want to touch it already?
Okay, do you want to, so this is it?
Okay. And then this whole section here, and then like you just take it off. Is it like a magnet?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So what it does is basically, it's just like part of me. But I know it makes me a little different, but
No, it makes you special, not different.
thanks.
It makes you special, not different. That makes me cringe. There's nothing wrong with being different. You can be different. I don't know why there's so many stigmas around words, like dancing around certain words and saying that when it comes to disabilities, but it's okay to be different. But earlier in the clip, notice the progression of on their one-on-one, she asks if he wants to see it and didn't ask if he wanted to touch it. And then the next time that they see each other, it's more of this progression thing where she's slowly making him more comfortable with her situation and asks if he wants to touch it, and she explains further how it works. I think that's great. You don't need to bombard and overwhelm someone with your disability and make it this big deal, but the slow progression and making them comfortable really seems like a good approach. All right, so in the next episodes 4, 5, and 6, there's not really anything significant about her disability. They show her clips of talking about other things that aren't related. I'm really happy to see that they start shifting their focus from episodes 1, 2, and 3 being so focused on her disability, introducing it, building empathy for her and her story. And then in episodes 4, 5, and 6, that simmers down and they show more of her talking about everyday things. They don't focus on her disability, and it's more of just showing Daisy and her reactions. The next time that her disability really comes into play is episode 7, when it's hometown dates and she's bringing Joey home to meet her family. So this next clip, before she introduces Joey to her family, we're going to see a clip about her introducing Joey to some of her friends on her family Christmas farm.
Okay, I need to tell you guys, I feel like I've talked to all of you about it, how I was like, with like all my past stuff, and then with getting my cochlear implant, I was always like, what like person like would want to be with me because of this, because like it makes me like a little different, you know, and it was kind of always just in the back of my head. But like this whole experience has honestly changed my perspective and my outlook on life, and that's like completely because of him and how he's like looked at me and treated me. And even if it's not us like at the end, which I hope it is, like I'm gonna like have that forever, and like I know like what I deserve, and I'm really happy.
It's super clear and apparent that she's really emotional when she's talking to her friends and expressing that she didn't know if anyone would ever want to date her because of her disability, but she was grateful to meet Joey and have this great experience. It is really refreshing as someone with a disability to meet people who won't treat you different and who will accept you for everything you are, regardless of the stigma that exists out there about disabilities. I love how raw and real this conversation she has with her friends is.
What you shared meant so much to me about just how you feel, how you've been feeling through all this, and the questions that you did have. And I really hope that you don't question that anymore, because you deserve everything and more.
Thank you. You've literally changed my perspective and my life on me, and I want you to know that. You've helped me like see myself completely different in like a better light, and I'm really thankful for you.
I really appreciate that Joey is kind of helping ease her fears and telling her that she doesn't need to worry about like expressing and talking about her disability with him, and that he still likes her regardless of the fact that she's deaf. Something that I have some kind of mixed feelings on though is that Daisy is expressing that he changed her whole perspective on things just by that one person. I don't really think that's possible. I mean, I'm not going to discount what she's saying, but to me, it's like, I don't know. Can one person really change your perspective on dating that much? And maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe if they end up together, like, that's great. She found someone who doesn't look at her different. So who am I to say? I don't know. Maybe this is coming from someone who hasn't found the right person yet. I don't know. But it feels kind of like, oh, you've made my life so much better and fixed so many things. But truly, I do feel like she's being genuine and real. Now let's see what happens when they go talk to her family.
So our first date, I got the first one-on-one date.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, good choice.
Yeah, I thought it was a good choice too. I'm glad you guys appreciate that.
But he didn't know that I'm basically deaf.
Yeah.
And then I told him about like all of it and like all my health stuff.
She was able to share everything that happened, and I think it was big for us, and I just wanted to learn more about you and how you've handled everything and had such a positive light about it all. And
She's the real deal, Joey.
it's crazy. I know. So I knew right from the beginning I was in trouble when we had that date. But,
No, you're not in trouble. You're blessed.
It's crazy because I've like told him, and like if it was like a year ago or anything, like I wouldn't have been able to do this. Yeah.
So Daisy's talking with her family about how she told him about her disability and everything. They have been living together, and it's something that they've been working together. They've seen her go through all of her struggles. So it's good to see her relationship with her family.
Wait, how's college?
It's awesome.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's different, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
And Harrison's voice sounds like Harrison.
Daisy told me there's still moments with her hearing that it doesn't sound necessarily right.
So it's just like it's getting like better and better.
Her brother's voice, she never really fully heard it the same way until now. So coming in today and hearing her brother speak, that was the first time she felt like it sounded like her brother's voice. Which is like a really, really special moment.
Oh, that's such a sweet moment that they share with us as a viewer of her experiencing hearing her brother's voice and it sounding like his voice to her again for the first time. So cute. So after they've been talking for a while as a full group, they break off and Daisy talks to her mom and her dad. I don't have any clips of her talking to her mom because I didn't feel like it was relevant, but here's a fun clip with her conversation with her dad.
If you think that you're falling in love with him, I think it's a no-brainer.
I think I am.
Okay, so then shoot the shot, and if you nail it, then, right?
Yeah.
Then it's all the marbles. Right? It's not like you're gonna lose your hearing over it.
It's not like I'm going deaf again.
I just really like that clip with her dad. It shows like the realness and how they're able to joke and think about her disability in a different way, and I really like that clip. That was the last clip I have for you. There's still a couple of episodes, and knowing what the result of this season will be for Joey, I didn't share all the information, and that's not my intention to share spoilers or what happens. I just wanted to highlight this relationship with someone who has a disability. So you can go ahead and watch it in various places if you want to see the outcome. I know that I'll be watching to see what happens. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that it was somewhat educational for you. Please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel below if you want to see more videos like this one. And also feel free to comment below any type of videos you want to see like this. Is there like another show or a movie or whatever that you want me to react to? Let me know and I will definitely do that if there is interest. I hope that you all have a fantastic week and I will see you in my next video. Bye!